Hello, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. I'm Eric Sfiligoj, editor of CropLife and CropLife Iron. Here again with Lara Sowinski. Lara, how you doing today?
Really well, thank you. A little bit stuffed, but
I was
as
going
it
to
should
say,
be.
I know we are. This video will air after Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So I suspect that people viewing us on the screen, I know they say the camera on TV adds a couple of pounds. So just envision a couple of pounds added to me and Lara after
A
downing,
bl-
mounds of turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing and all the trimmings in a Thanksgiving dinner. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving
Indeed.
out there in viewer land. So, well, hey, Lara, I guess we've been doing. I teased you a little before we got on. I mean, we've been doing lots of good news stories for ag, and that was the YIM. And of course, the things in life tend to want to even out, and everything wants to get back to like a middle. So this week, unfortunately, I ran across news that was not real positive, although it could be depending on your perspective. So, and I'll explain that as we go along. But um, I have two stories to share with our viewers, and then I'll kick it over to you. The first, and both of these involve, unfortunately, court cases. So,
Well,
in the first one, this was a court case that was going down in the state of Missouri, involved four plaintiffs that had said that using Roundup over the years had caused them to actually get some type of a cancer.
okay.
And of course, they were taking our friends Bayer to court regarding that issue. And a Missouri jury found in favor of these four plaintiffs and have ordered the company, Bayer, to pay $1.56 billion
Well,
in penalties and compensation to these plaintiffs. So obviously, Bayer disagrees with the decision and promises to appeal, but it does count as a loss for the company. I know for a while there, Bayer was doing pretty good. I think they had 9 lawsuits in a row where they actually prevailed, where the juries found them not liable. But in this case, they were found liable. So we'll see what happens with this. But yeah, a $1.56 billion judgment against our friends at Bayer.
yeah, that's a uh, sizable amount. Yeah, it'll be, it's as you mentioned, is expected they are going to appeal. So, be interesting to see how that ultimately resolves.
Yeah, how it ends up, right? So we'll follow that as we get more news. We will talk in future videos once we find out more information. We'll be happy to share. The other court case was something involving our friends in the ag equipment space. I guess there was a case going through the court system where John Deere was accusing Ag Leader and Kinsey of patent infringement. And involved their products True Speed and Sure Speed, which I guess were the planting technologies. And that court case was taking place in Iowa. And on October 30th, the jury in that case ruled in favor of John Deere, saying that Ag Leader and Kinsey had indeed infringed on their patent for those two products, but they found that it wasn't a willful infringement. So I guess it could have been worse, but nonetheless, because of the patent infringement decision, the jury in that case awarded $2 million in lost profit to John Deere from Ag Leader and Kinsey, and $14 million in royalty compensation. So again, 16 million total was the damage amount in that case. I did not see in the story I read if Ag Leader and Kinsey plan to appeal. I would imagine they will, but at the moment, it looks like John Deere is going to prevail in this court case. So, like I said, I mean, if you're John Deere, good news for them. If you're Ag Leader and Kinsey, not so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have an item as well related to glyphosate that we have talked about previously.
Mhm.
you may recall in September, the European Commission proposed extending the use of glyphosate for another 10 years. The proposal required a vote amongst the EU members. The first vote was in October. It failed to approve that proposal. A second vote on November 16th by EU member states also failed to approve the European Commission's proposal to extend it. The voting, there are 27 member nations in the EU. A qualified majority of 15 of the EU's 27 countries, representing at least 65% of the bloc's population, was required to either to support or block that proposal. So twice the voting failed to approve that proposal. However, the Commission has the authority to either clear the extension or revise the proposal. And so this was on the 16th. So that's exactly what it did. The EC decided to, the European Commission did decide to go forward with the authorization for another 10 years. The European Commission said it would move forward and make that approval again, despite the no votes, based on European Food Agency and the European Chemicals Agency safety assessments, and subject to new conditions. I thought, this is important, and restrictions such as maximum application rates. So, yes, the proposal will go forward with, again, kind of new conditions and restrictions such as maximum application rates. The Commission had to make a move one way or the other. They had a deadline of December 15th. So another item, kind of, a footnote to that: individual EU countries will remain responsible for authorizing plant protection products containing glyphosate. So, for instance, France and the number of countries who were not in favor of extending the use, obviously were not happy with the decision, but a busy day on November 16th. So that's the latest. It will go forward, of course. Bayer was happy with that decision. So some good news on that front for Bayer.
Yeah, well, and good for 10 years. I mean, that takes it to like 2033 before we need to worry about this again. And God willing, we're all still here. But
yeah.
So maybe we can finally put this issue to rest for a little while as we move into the new year of 2024 on the EU side, which would be good. So
yeah, and no, actually, you're right. That 10-year extension, as opposed to a 5-year extension, which was the previous period that the European Commission approved. It's just like anything. That kind of knowing, that there's not going to be further disruption in a shorter time period. That 10-year period offers consistency and so forth. So, for several reasons, good news on that front.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the one thing we know about agriculture, of course, is, considering how unpredictable things like the weather tends to be year in and year out, certainty in any area of the business going forward is always a welcome relief for the folks that do business in this particular market. So, excellent. So, hey, I guess one other thing you have to share is sort of I guess we'd call it a preview, a hint of what's going on come January. So if you want to share a little bit about the Vision Conference and Women in Ag Tech, take it away.
Sure. Yeah, we had two important developments for both the Vision Conference, which January 22nd through 24th in Glendale, Arizona, and co-locating with the Vision Conference is our second in-person Women in Ag Tech meeting. So the Vision Conference, the keynote speaker is confirmed. He is Vasant Ganeshan. He's a partner with McKinsey and Women in Ag Tech. We also have a keynote speaker. She's a special agent with the FBI. She was actually on our Tech Hub Live program, leading a roundtable. Her expertise is in agriculture, security and threats, food safety, risk assessment, cybersecurity. So we're super excited to have her return as a keynote for Women in Ag Tech, and that will be on Monday, the 22nd. So if you go to thevisionconference.com, you'll see not only the agenda and details for the Vision Conference, but likewise, there's a little drop-down menu for Women in Ag Tech, and you'll see the agenda there. So we're super excited, both for the Vision Conference and Women in Ag Tech. Great keynote speakers for both of those.
Yeah, good, great news to hear. And again, giving me a nice segue, Miss Laura, speaking of trade shows, one that's a little more imminent on the horizon is the Agricultural Retailers Association annual meeting, which will be taking place next week in Orlando, Florida. And of course, you and myself will be there, along with the rest of our CropLife crew. We're going to be at booth 408 on the show floor. So if you want to come by and visit and say hi to our folks, we'll be hanging out at that booth intermittently throughout the event. And a couple other things we got going on. Of course, I forget what year this is, but every year we get together some ag retailers and we have a retailer roundtable, where we basically talk about issues going on in the marketplace, what people are worried about, and see opportunities in the upcoming year. And we're going to be doing that again this year. And then also we're going to be handing out a little bit of hardware. We have a winner in the CropLife Iron Product of the Year competition. So we will be making that presentation. So if you watch the video next week, I will have a video clip of the company that won, or the product that won, being accepted by a representative of that company. And you can check it out for yourself to see who the winner was of the 5 finalists. And if you wanted to check that out, you go to our website. I'm sure you can find a list of the finalists online still, although the voting has been closed. But yes, we will be at ARA November 28th through the 30th. So if you're going to be there, please stop by and say hi to Miss Laura and myself.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned our booth number 408, because I didn't know where to show up and, bug you and all the other CropLife teammates of mine. So
and truthfully, the ARA show floor is not all that large, so you would have probably found us just looking at the banner stands. But yes, I thought I would point out the booth number. I did look it up before we got on camera here, because I wanted to make sure that, hey, if folks really do want to check us out, they know what aisle to be walking down. So the 400 aisle, 408.
Excellent.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Yep. Yeah, it should be fun. So, hey, Miss Laura, it is time, of course, to wrap up our video with your favorite segment of the show. Time for Fun with Numbers.
All right. Better be an easy one, Eric.
No. I don't think so. But we will see. Sometimes I think it's going to be easy and it's a face plant by Miss Laura, and other times I think it's going to be pretty hard and you nail it without any trouble whatsoever. So we'll see which way we go this week.
Is it going to be like 2.65 billion metric tons or something?
Now, actually, it's a money amount this week.
Oh, money amount. Well,
yes, but it is a small money amount.
Oh, okay.
So your number this week is 14.9 cents.
Okay.
All right. So, Miss Laura, is 14.9 cents, is that the latest per bushel increase for January 2024 soybeans?
Well,
Is it B, the latest per bushel increase for January 2024 corn? Is it C, the farm share number for each dollar spent on food for 2022? Or is it D, how much Frontier Airlines charged me the last time I flew to borrow the in-flight magazine from the person sitting next to me?
all right, that's one of your better.
If you've flown Frontier, you know I have no love for their let's charge you for everything we possibly can method of
Gosh,
travel. I'm not a fan of that. Just
another one.
put it all on the ticket price up front and don't be nickel and diming me as I'm sitting on the plane.
Won't be 14.9 cents bugging me for that extra gulp of oxygen. Um, I'm going for A, soybeans.
No, see, I knew I was going to trick you with this. No, believe it or not, given we're almost at the end of the year and we're just through a big food event, Thanksgiving, the
Oh,
correct answer is C. Just to explain the farm share number, that's the percentage of each dollar spent on food that actually directly goes to the farmers, the farm communities. And in 2022, which is where the numbers I had information for, it said it was 14.9 cents of each dollar went directly to the farmer, and then the other 85 and some odd cents went for marketing and the distributors and the producers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what made the number interesting to me is that in 2021, the year before, it was 15.2 cents.
oh,
And in 2020, it was 17.2 cents. So
oh,
unfortunately, the percentage of cents going per dollar to the
yeah.
grower community is actually on the decline, which,
Well,
again, as I said at the top of the show, not the best news, but it is what it is. So
interesting. Oh, that's interesting. The source that you were getting this information from, how long, like how much of a historical?
I'm sure they go back pretty far, but they had a high water mark at 2020. So it was like
Okay.
2020, 2021, 2022. It was only 3 years worth of data I was looking at in the article I looked at. But I would imagine if you looked online for farm share number 2022, you probably find the source, and maybe there was a graph in the story that went back a little further than that, but it just highlighted those 3 years. So that's why I used those.
Well, that's good. Good to know.
All right. Well, hey, on behalf of myself and everyone in the CropLife Media Group, I'm Eric Sfiligoj, Miss Lara Sowinski. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this week's video, and we will see you again real soon. If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below. Your feedback is important to us. We will try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.